My name is Carl Dyvenvoorten. I work as a speaker, writer, and sustainability consultant. I live in Upper Kingsclear, New Brunswick. I guess my journey to sustainability started when I was a little boy, growing up on the north shore of New Brunswick in the village of Beldoon. For my first 4 years, I went to what we called the Old Beldoon School, which was located right between the smelter and the fertilizer plant, the two biggest, stinkiest industries around. And I can remember very clearly as a kid, there were some days when the smoke coming out of the fertilizer plant, which was upwind, would hang over our schoolyard like a fog, and we weren't allowed to go outside. Or on marginal days, we'd go outside and we'd come back in and our throats would have this burning taste. Not good, you know? When I was a kid, we hadn't even heard of climate change. I didn't know anything about the environment, but one thing I did know was this, and I think every little kid knows it: you don't keep a car running in a closed garage. And then I thought, but wait a minute, isn't our planet kind of like a really big closed garage? Except for the odd meteorite, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. And then I'd look at that smoke coming out of the pipe of the fertilizer plant and I'd wonder, where does that stuff go? And the answer I always got was, it goes away. So the early seeds of concern of what we, all of us collectively, not deliberately, are doing to the planet that we depend upon for every bite, every sip, every breath. And for many years, I didn't know what to do. And over the years, my early career was in agriculture because I was raised on a dairy farm. I went to agricultural college, I got my science degree. I had a wonderful early career in agriculture, but always deep down there was this concern about our environment. And over the years, that evolved primarily to concern over this issue of climate change. Because as I read about it, I came to think, wow, this is the big one. This is going to affect every part of our lives. And then all of a sudden in 2006, along came this, The Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore. And I remember hearing about it and thinking, Al Gore? Climate change? And then I read it. And as I read it, I told my wife Karen, I said, Karen, I think this book is going to change the world because it's written by a famous person, but also because it takes this issue of climate change and brings it down to a level where everyone can understand it. And then I found out that Al Gore would be training people to present live versions of An Inconvenient Truth, and I thought, that's for me. That's where the little voice can become a bigger voice. So I applied, and wouldn't you know it, in April of 2007, I found myself down in Nashville in a training with Al Gore. Became one of the first Canadians. Part of the deal was that you had to come home and do at least 10 presentations over the next year. But I came home, I looked at my boys and I thought, I think this is the most important work that I could be doing. So I said, the heck with 10, I'm going to aim for 100. And I took a year off of work to do it. Well, when the year was up, I was well over 100 because everyone was wanting to hear a presentation of An Inconvenient Truth at the time. It was the time of the Academy Award for Al Gore and the Nobel Peace Prize for Al Gore. So when the year was up, I actually quit my job, and since then, I've been working as a speaker, writer, and sustainability consultant. For me, those first 3 days in Nashville with Al Gore were really, really impactful. They really opened my eyes up to some of the environmental challenges we're facing, obviously primarily climate change, but there are others out there as well. And it seems to me that if we're going to be more sustainable going forward, we need to look not just at climate change, but we need to look at almost every aspect of our lifestyles, consumption in particular, waste in particular. It seems to me that sustainability is about renewing our relationship with the world around us. And maybe it's not all about economics, maybe it's going to be about sustainability. And that sustainability needs to govern us in terms of the decisions we make. So that's prompted me to get involved with other things. For example, I'm a proud supporter of the Conservation Council here in New Brunswick. I'm a proud supporter of the Nature Trust, which sets aside land in perpetuity. Seems to me that's about the best thing that we could do to preserve biodiversity and also to help solve climate change. And in my own world, I've been pleased to do things like roadside cleanups in our community or beach cleanups more recently as part of my Terry Fox runs. Even though I'm the one on the camera here today, I couldn't have done it alone. And it wouldn't have happened without the support of my wife, Karen.